Well, this is your election headquarters, and flowing from that outdooring ceremony yesterday in the Ashanti Regional Capital, MPP running mate Dr. Matthew Puku-Prempeh has been the subject of social media criticism following his comments yesterday indicating Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's achievements is simply not enough to match that of current President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo. The comment was made at his unveiling to the voters in Kumasi following his selection last week as running mate. We'll get updates on this for you shortly, but first, here's a wrap of that grand unveiling in Kumasi, his home region.
The atmosphere was electric at the Menchia Palace, where thousands of enthusiastic party supporters gathered to witness the formal presentation of Dr. Matthew Puku-Prempeh to the Asante. President Akufo-Addo formally introduced the MPP's flag bearer and running mate for the December 7 polls to Otumfo Tutu II.
Ghana mra ye dia chichiro omai HRS Ghana ni bia be fro kunya kese no a utumi phone premier no na ubreso a esise pobi no ba be hye wa na ewu ebi no ma nya kwa antu na phone mienu ebi no phone ba ko pe I don't know, that's what you yeah, pretty. And then answer, and MPP, National Council, Eco Shia, Tiababi Tiafi, Rabawamia, I'm say, hi.
Some people had the chance to be president once, and others, including myself, also served twice. Baumia didn't go anywhere to select his running mate, but the Ashanti region, and it is your son, Napo. I have worked with Napo and Baumia, and I know they can do a good job for the country.
Wow, fear. I fear. Hello, Unana. I got a fourth-year friend with Napo. I am receiving Johnny. I'm a Messiah South. Minister so ever my ben or no and I hear Ramabia a National Council.
After the formal introduction, the Asante urged Napo to preserve his characteristic modesty while collaborating closely with Dr. Baumia.
Me be di makasa chen wo dem metunufo nanzo ma men kan chro ma Dr. Baumia nunu ho se wo yi wo ma nunu ho se wo yi wo don't let
Baumia regret his decision on selecting you as his running mate. Go and humble yourself to Baumia. You are not arrogant, so don't let what people say about you be true.
The
unveiling of Dr. Baumia's running mate took place at the Kumasi Jubilee Park, where thousands of party supporters gathered. According to Dr. Baumia, his decision to select Dr. Matthew Puku-Prempeh is to bring bold solutions to help the nation.
Media academic, me a banker, and I'm a government as vice president. Me fisher obia obeba buami with experience from the legislative branch. Now obemami complementarity.
As a banker and economist, I needed someone from the legislative side to complement the ticket. I share the same vision with Napo. He's a problem solver and he can help me transform the country.
Ashanti region, na ebeto Dr. Matthew Puku-Prempeh, aka Napo.
Dr. Puku-Prempeh believes the MPP is the best party to help develop the country. For him, the legacies of President Akufo-Addo are unmatched since independence.
President Akufo-Addo called retirement. But to be case we say a free state Ghana from 1957. Ebekane yenya president bia wa boa Ghana China na Addo Akufo-Addo. Me say free 1957. Bekane mo form Kwame Nkrumah no mo form
Nobody comes close to President Akufo-Addo in terms of achievements, not even your Kwame Nkrumah.
President Minister can say I deal with fear. Yes, I deal with fear. I deal with fear. 85%.
The MPP is beginning its constituency campaign with Dr. Bawumia touring the northern region. For Joy News, Nana Kwame-Botsio, Kumasi. The atmosphere was electric at the Menchia Palace.
Well, the CPP, which Dr. Nkrumah led, has been reacting to Dr. Matthew Prempe's comments. They are demanding his resignation from all government and political positions within Ghana and apologize for the comments. And the statement they just issued, part of it with the Convention People's Party calls on the Honorable Minister within 24 hours to do the honorable thing for the sake of the country's image and immediately resign from all government and political positions and issue an immediate apology and retraction. Failing which the party calls on His Excellency President Akufo-Addo to withdraw the Honorable Minister from his position as Minister of Energy, and also calls on His Excellency the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, to withdraw him as the Vice Presidential candidate for the sake of the country's image and its long-term political and economic fortunes. Ghanaians and Nkrumahs worldwide will have no choice but to hit the streets to register their displeasure if the above or similar measures are not immediately enforced within 24 hours. Now, let me bring in Kwame Botsio. He is the secretary to the Independent Committee of the Convention People's Party. Mr. Botsio, you're welcome to the post.
Thank you, my brother.
So what exactly has Dr. Matthew Prempe Napo done for you to demand his resignation from all government and party positions?
First of all, what he has done constitutes hate speech. Secondly, he has dragged the name of an international icon in the mud. And we believe that looking at current happenings on the continent and in the country itself, this is not the time for such things. Dr. Matthew Prempe, Honorable, is an accomplished man in his own right. We have nothing against him personally. But the country is at a point where we cannot allow such things to go unheeded. If you are going to talk about your accomplishments or the accomplishments of your soon-to-be outgoing president, do so. You do not need to refer to somebody in the stature of Kwame Nkrumah as your Kwame Nkrumah. No, it is not right. And we demand an immediate retraction, apology, and resignation.
So how does a comparison, if you like, amounts to hate speech?
Well, for him to say your Kwame Nkrumah, I mean, we are in a traditional society. And Honorable Dr. Matthew Prempe is somebody with a high pedigree. He comes from a very good royal background. And he knows that you do not even refer to an ordinary person on the streets who is older than you as your. He was born after the 1966 coup. He and I were not there during Kwame Nkrumah's time. All that we know is what we have read and what we see. And we believe it is very distasteful for him to refer him to him in such ways that your Kwame Nkrumah. And this has ignited passions everywhere. Even people who are not Nkrumahs are outraged that somebody who went to prison so many times because of this country, he put his life on the line. Even after the time of his death, he was still lamenting about the state of the country. Somebody that almost 30 years after his death was crowned as the African of the millennium, even though he was dead. This is how every country you go to. There is something, almost every country, there's something about Kwame Nkrumah. If you mention Ghana, people say Kwame Nkrumah. We cannot have one of our own, somebody of high standing, somebody of such stature as Honorable Dr. Matthew Prempe to say such things and let it slide. the country is already not in a very good position economically and politically. We can see the sub-region disintegration. Kwame Nkrumah is the champion of African unity. And if you are going to draw a comparison, we believe that maybe draw a comparison with somebody else, not the one who stood for African unity, not the one who stood for the progress of the country. This is going to further worsen the current situation with Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger breaking away. Other countries will see that, oh, even the Ghanaians themselves, the same Kwame Nkrumah, which has been our point of convergence, is now being disrespected in his own country. Then everything will be in disarray. So we believe that he is very accomplished in many areas, but we don't think this is his time. And there have been perception of his arrogance, and I believe that it is not just a perception. If it wasn't something that is of great concern, His Royal Highness the Santini would not have brought it up. And immediately after he brought it up, this happened. So I think it's a sign. As the elders say, when the writing is on the wall, you don't ignore it. And we think that as much as MPP may want to Maserani, but in the interest of the whole country, the sub-region, Africa as a whole, this is not his time. This is the time that we have to come together and people who unify the country and the continent.
But Kwame, I'm actually so struggling to appreciate the displeasure, if you like, of the CPP. If Napo used the word "your Kwame Nkrumah," was he not simply referring to the party Dr. Kwame Nkrumah belongs to, and in this case, the CPP? I mean, he has every right to undertake comparison.
Well, he did not say the CPP, and Kwame Nkrumah does not belong to just the CPP. Kwame Nkrumah is a national asset. Kwame Nkrumah belongs to everybody in this country, even His Excellency Akufo-Addo, who I hold in very high esteem, both as a legal practitioner and an accomplished president. He himself was once labeled, if you go into the media space, as one of the, after the 60s, as one of the most dangerous members of the Convention People's Party. This is somebody who himself does not play with Kwame Nkrumah. If you are going to draw comparisons, Kwame Nkrumah is the wrong person to draw comparisons to it. And to even go further and say that you're Kwame Nkrumah, it more or less gives more credence to the perception that there is an agenda against Nkrumah. You can compare, which we disagree with, but to even go further, this is like a double-barreled gun. This is a double blow. Not only do you compare, but you refer to him as your Kwame Nkrumah. He didn't say the CPP's Kwame Nkrumah. I've listened to the tape over and over again. And even interestingly, at the beginning of the tape, he said, the 2 minutes I have listened to, he said 1967 and immediately changed it to 1957. Right. So he himself...
Kwame, I don't know whether you touched something, but your audio is off. If you can unmute for me.
I'm here.
Yes, I can hear you. So, I mean, let's try and position this word "yours" in a proper context. I mean, and I'm struggling to come to terms why you should demand for his resignation as a minister and as running mate simply for the fact that he used that word "yours."
Well, if even the mere outburst, you know, when you are going to determine whether something is unjust or unsavory, you don't look at just what the political parties say. Everywhere, worldwide, people have come out, both CPP supporters and non-supporters alike, both Nkrumah fanatics and non-fanatics alike. Everybody has come out. I mean, it is clear, as is said in the law, res ipsa loquitur, the matter speaks for itself. So it is not us making a mountain out of a molehill. It is very evident. Otherwise, we would not even be covering this on this news item if it was a small matter. And our fear is that in the unlikely event that MPP could win, what other utterances is he going to say as a vice president? Even now that he does not yield that power, we can imagine what is going to happen when he yields that power. So, I mean, it only makes sense that he waits for another term.
Right. Kwame, hold it there. We're also joined by the Deputy General Secretary of the MPP, Dr. Haruna Mohammed. And Haruna, good afternoon and welcome to the Pulse.
Good afternoon, Elton.
So, I mean, you heard the CPP. They've just released a statement demanding the resignation of Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh first as energy minister and second as the running mate to the flag bearer. Simply for the fact that he made reference to Dr. Nkrumah as your Dr. Nkrumah yesterday at the unveiling. Is it a call you will welcome?
I think this call is unnecessary constitutionally. I have perused through the Constitution of the Republic, and I don't see anywhere that warrants such a call based on a political comment that has been made by a political actor within a political season. You will agree with me that we are in a political season in Ghana as at now. CPP remains a political party that is also in this particular struggle for power in terms of who takes the mantle to govern this country. And if you are in a political season, and Kwame Nkrumah remains an opponent of us, because at the time Kwame Nkrumah was brought in by us and he has to form his own political party, we were not in one political party. So if the accomplishment of Kwame Nkrumah is being attacked or is being compared in a manner that Napo did, I don't see the need somebody to call for the resignation. Let me make it very clear. Kwame Nkrumah has done his best for this country, but he is not a tin god. He's not immune with criticism. Our constitution is very clear. So if somebody criticizes Kwame Nkrumah, it does not warrant a call for a resignation, which is unconstitutional. It does not have any strength in our constitution to support the fact that he should be sanctioned or he should be withdrawn or whatever. The laws of this country are very clear. Even though CPP, they are good brothers. But I don't think that the tangent of which they have gone is very far. It's very, very far.
But how now, CPP, in their opinion, says this constitutes hate speech. You agree or reject?
I cannot evaluate that, because hate speech, I don't know how hate speech should be classified in this particular manner. He did not call for catalysis to chase Kwame Nkrumah. He did not call for the destruction of the progress of Kwame Nkrumah in the country. He did not call for writing off of the contribution of Kwame Nkrumah in this country. I don't think he has done that. Or mob should go and burn down the houses of Kwame. No, I don't think he has done that. So I don't know the angle of which this constitutes a hate speech. I think that it is just one of those political commentaries that we make when we are due to make comparison in terms of political actors. And I think that he made his point very clear. And he specifically mentioned some of the areas he thinks that Akufo-Addo has done his best. So let's focus on the discussion and leave the conjectures away.
Some are saying that the comparison was unnecessary. The introduction of Kwame Nkrumah in the whole conversation was not necessary. I mean, in the last less than 24 hours, and all you have been doing is to defend this comment.
Yes, that is the opinion of the people. Everybody is free to express your own opinion. And I'm not going to fault anybody for expressing their opinion. And that is why you have had the cause to call us to also contribute our quota in terms of how people view the comment of this running mate in this particular instance. So I don't think it is something that I have to write away. Opinions are like noses, and everybody will have to express his own opinion with regards to what somebody says. And that constitutes the constitutionality of our country and the free democracy we have.
Right, hold it there for me. I mean, the people you are convincing to give you their vote in December, they have been speaking to this particular matter. We've run a poll on our social media handle, and this is the outcome of it. So, how do you rate Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh's speech at his inauguration yesterday in the Ashanti region? 4.7 says excellent, very good, good, 3.3%, poor, very poor, 80.6%, no opinion, 11.4%. I mean, going by this, and 664 have voted so far, and in their opinion, it was distasteful. I mean, to put it in a way that represents the 80.6% votes that we got. Surely, you must be concerned about the comments that came from Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh. All right. So, Okay, so let me. I wanted Haruna to respond to this to this question, but if you're not ready, let me move to Mr. Botsio. Mr. Botsio, so we heard the Deputy General Secretary of the MPP. You will not get the retraction and apology. Neither are you going to get the resignation that you are demanding of the Energy Minister.
You want me to respond?
Yes, I wanted you to respond to the poll. 80.6% says that, I mean, the inauguration and the speech that they heard from Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh was not the best. 80.6. And I'm saying that these are people you are convincing them to vote for the MPP.
I can come in. He was asking me a question.
Yes, Haruna, please, you can respond to this poll. Yes, Haruna, can you hear me? All right, so Haruna is not getting our attention. Let me shift to Kwame Botsio. So Kwame, you heard the Mr. Haruna Mohammed. He says you won't get the apology and the retraction. Neither are you going to get the resignation you are demanding. Your reaction?
Sorry, are you speaking to me? The line was a bit faint. This go to you.
Yes, Kwame. Yes, Kwame. I was asking. I mean, you heard the. Yes, I was saying that you heard the Deputy General Secretary of the MPP. He doesn't think that the comments made by the running mate constitute grounds for his removal as running mate or as Energy Minister. You are not going to get a retraction and apology that you are seeking.
Yes, I heard him. I think he spoke very well, but I would want to divide his speech into two. First of all, he said the Constitution does not demand for resignation for such things. We believe that resignation is an ethical issue, and you have to show that you're a principled person. When you make a mistake, you stand down. And as for us not getting the retraction and the apology, as we wrote in our press release, we said retraction and apology, and we also added that any other befitting response. Of course, if we are not getting the retraction and apology, maybe we're going to get something more. And if we don't get it, well, the 80% in the poll will speak at the polls on that day. We don't have to worry ourselves about it. CPP is about fair competition.
Yeah, we appear to be having connection issues there. But let me also bring,
CPP is about giving everybody a voice. But when you're beyond the CPP, tell you that you go ahead.
All right. This appears to have awakened the CPP. I mean, in recent times, you've been very quiet on the political front. I mean, ahead of December elections, we've not heard much of you. What really is happening in the party?
Currently preparing to hold our various internal elections. We had an audit of our structures on the ground. And let's not forget that the CPP was proscribed as far back as 1966 and was only restored in 2000. The CPP is a party that is feared not only by some other political parties, but it is feared worldwide. I mean, there are various redacted CIA documents and other things. And we know that our silence, as much as it is good to take responsibility for your own issues, a lot of our silence, a lot of our struggles have been externally induced. And even what is happening now, the banning of Republic Day as a holiday, the banning of AD, the current disintegration. Yes. So we can see that all these things, CPP struggles is because of what some other enemies outside, not enemies, some other opponents outside are doing to the party. But we have decided to unite and then shut out all other voices and then forge ahead. We are done with our auditing process, and you will hear from us. It is not that we're quiet. We realize that sometimes when you make too much noise and you're everywhere, it is easy for people to infiltrate. So we quietly weaned out those who were just there as most in the party, feeding information to other parties to keep us down. And we can all see that this is the time for the CPP. If you look at the watering down of the educational curriculum to more or less reduce the contribution of Kwame Nkrumah. What happened in Kumasi yesterday was just an icing on the cake. anytime you speak that the external factors militate against the CPP, people will tell you that it is your own fault. Well, we accept some responsibility, but there are also external factors, and this has proven to Ghanaians far and wide that indeed there's an agenda to let Kwame Nkrumah and the CPP be forgotten and eternally keep the country as a neo-colonialist nation.
I thank you very much. Kwame Botsio is the secretary to the interim committee of the Convention People's Party, and this obviously, this comments made by Dr. Matthew Opoku seem to have awoken the CPP into the political front burner. But let me bring him, Haruna Mohammed. Dr. Haruna Mohammed joins me in the studio. Haruna, you're welcome. And we're trying to, not knowing you were actually on your way to the studio.
I was driving from
of course
to Accra.
You have more time to react to some of the things that have come up so far. But let me bring him Mustafa Bamde. He's the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Mustafa, good afternoon. And obviously the NDC is also chewing on this matter. The CPP is demanding Dr. Opoku Prempeh's resignation, first as Energy Minister and as running mate to the Vice President. Unless he retracts and apologizes for the comments he made. They describe the comment as hateful. Does that constitute hateful for you?
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to our cherished listeners. And I welcome my brother to the studio. Mm-hmm. I would have thought that in a very civilized society of humble people, MPP should have by now apologized to the Ghanaian people for the level of unguarded, reckless, unmindful commentary by the well-anticipated running mate. I mean, to all intents and purposes, it's very unpresidential, and clearly this should be coming from a material that cannot be a precedent. We have said it from the day one, that if Napo is the choice of MPP's today's running mate, then I'm sad for the party. It means that the MPP, having touted itself as a party of elites, is actually an overhyped adage, and that my own MPP political party should not be choosing Napo as a running mate at this time. But if they have chosen, it's their own business. They have laid the foundation. We've shown that the card, the Mahmoud Bawumia card itself, is a weak card from the MPP front. We have further demonstrated. We have further demonstrated that if Napo was chosen to revive the grassroots base of the MPP in Ashanti region, it has failed flatly because it hasn't lived to that expectation. Again, if it was for the purposes of complementarism, then of course, clearly in the worst state of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, you cannot put Napo as a vice president. I can't see a Ghana having such a hot-headed person as a vice president. I cannot see it happening. And so whether he resigns, whether he does not resign, in the energy ministry where he has been in the last few years, he has demonstrated phenomenal incompetence, demonstrated recklessness, demonstrated no track record. He is unprepared to solve anything. He is just a pampered, spoiled child. And so if President Akufo-Addo will keep such a person as a minister, again, it just demonstrates the lack of commitment by this government to say, let's stop at a certain point and then begin to take responsibility of the mess that we have caused in the economy. But as for us, I do not have the explicit instruction to the General Secretary to join the call for resignation. But I just believe that the foundation have been laid, a weak candidate, a reckless running mate. Yesterday was a forum for at least Matthew Opoku Prempeh to finish the day with some absolute pretentious humility to prove the enemies wrong. At least 6 hours Matthew Opoku Prempeh's lifetime. He should have just used that occasion to shine to the world. But you see, no matter how you paint a crocodile, it cannot stop misbehaving at the riverside.
But Mustafa, let me come in here. If what you are saying is what it is, then this should play to the NDC's advantage. You shouldn't really be complaining. You should just sit quietly on the fence and watch it unfold to your advantage.
No, we cannot watch because you see, we love the MPP, the political party. The two of us are the ones managing the affairs of this country. We know that they have sunk our country so deep in a hole. But to further go and recycle these sort of liabilities to bring to the table of intellectual discussion is marveling. So we are concerned that if you shift the goalpost to this extent, we should be able to expose the kind of candidates they are assembling. So far, we have shown that the vice president, who is the flag bearer himself, is not a character of honesty. He is a liar. He doesn't speak the truth. He is unbefitting of presidency. And we have further shown. Yeah, can you hear me?
And all of this is because he made comparison with the first president of the republic.
No. Far from it. We have earlier indicated that Napo is not character of record. His temperaments will not help him unless the MPP changes Napo in the room. In fact, his next comment will be worse than this one he has made. So it is not about Dr. Kwame Nkrumah at all. Whether he has spoken something against Dr. Kwame Nkrumah or he has not, it only takes a disrespectful child to insult an elderly. And Napo knows that when Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was a president, he wouldn't have probably been born, or he was a young man. If you can go and discredit that person and glorify the incompetent Akufo-Addo who is walking around, it is own cup of tea.
But are you able to point out to me the insult here?
Which insult?
You said he's insulted Kwame Nkrumah. Acting, if you can point out the insult here for me.
Kwame Nkrumah, is Napo not a Ghanaian? Is he a Togolese? Or is he a Lebanese? Because of his height, let me take he's a Nigerian. What do you mean by Kwame Nkrumah? He is not a Ghanaian. That is how condescending and ethnocentric that guy can be. And this is what MPP have settled on as a running mate. Again, it's for Ghanaians to judge. We have set the tone. Last week, His Excellency President Mahama have engaged with the media. He's been able to choose his campaign team. We are finished with our manifesto. We are going to launch. In fact, in this discussion, it's a foundation of how we can drive this country out of the mess deliberately and avoidably caused by His Excellency President Akufo-Addo and his cohorts. And so we are following that foundation. But it doesn't stop us from commenting on further danger that the MPP is cooking. They cooked Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia the same way, whitewashed him as if he was the one that was coming to save this country. Innocent Ghanaians trusted him and voted for Akufo-Addo, only for us to realize that he was a scam. He doesn't actually represent what he says. The man is actually incompetent. He takes delight in lying. Now we are going to repackage another arrogant brat to come and give to Ghanaians. We will expose him. We have done so. So that conversation is finished. We are moving forward.
All right. Let me thank you on that note. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Mustafa Gwande is Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. And in the studio is the man in his exact position, Dr. Haruna Mohammed. So I'm sure you've been following the discussion on this particular matter.
Yes.
The reference made to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the comparison, and for some it constitutes hate speech, for some it constitutes insult. I don't know, perhaps the MPP can best explain what transpired yesterday and the kind of message that the running mate was seeking to send.
Thank you very much, Elton. First, I would want to correct one thing. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a book doctor. I have a name from secondary school as Prof. And that is what I've been known, even my school days.
All right.
The professors call me Prof. I'm not a book professor, even though I've had the chance to teach in the university. But I'm not a professor. I'm not a doctor. I'm a nickname Prof.
I appreciate it. But before you go on, you know, after yesterday, the running mate, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, has already started work. And this morning, he was in the western north region of the country, where he paid a courtesy call on some chiefs. Now, he's been responding to this matter. Let me bring that on to our viewers, and then we can engage Haruna Mohammed more.
Ejumano ususua na afa baby. na ɛyɛ me de sɛ de nyame nhyehyɛeɛ na ɛyɛ nhyehyɛeɛ papa ɛnora ɛna President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo ne Vice President Bawumia nyabre tuda sɛ ɔmo de me kɔ Kumasi ahemfie na ɔmo yi mi ama Ghana man sɛ Addo Akufo-Addo na ebusa wase o yaba kurom na akɔtena baabi oni akɔtena kyerɛ hɔ yɛwie politicians yaba nyɔsɛm no ɛyɛ mfie 9 na Nana Addo Akufo-Addo mɔka n'akyi ama deɛ obetumi ayɛ bi a wayɛ wɔ Ghana ha mpo ekɔkan a sɛ yɛagye no asi bɔne Mr. Fisi Etiti Ghana 1957 by from Kwame Nkrumah. Ebekane. A penpie ni owa ye adwuma chen na Addo Akufo-Addo. Na aja otiswa. Akoye se abanyosem ayeye no nana o ka no kra yeso wadi nso ade. Utwa ntra ni abusi ama. Mo ba ne me, mo nana ne me, mo amfa ntro. Ene ehu ne hye me mu. Ti enura no bi mi che Kumasi man. Ena me ka che fifi be na nsan ne se. Ye wi a so me ba me na da ho. Na me de me hu be kire me nana. Na entitibu no emwayen. The me fi and the na fe ya de kro me na tro do na no wasamayo adansimayo secheo enya ya de kro enye kasa mo kai min chiche maso no mate.
So that's the MPP's running mate, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh. He paid a courtesy call on 33rd Okuamwa Sechim II. And he is the Oman Hene of Wasa Amenfi traditional area in the western region. So obviously he started his work. Now let me try and translate what he said. What he said yesterday during his unveiling at the Kumasi Jubilee Park has been taken out of context. And in this country, when you speak the truth, you are branded arrogant or disrespectful. But he will continue to pursue the truth, and that he was not brought up to disrespect elders, and that he's very humble and very listening. So, Mr. Haruna, yes. You heard your running mate.
Yes, thank you very much. My brother Mustafa, I understand he's out of the country. Maybe he's planning on the position that he has to take in the NDC government. I'm not going to respond to whether Napo is a Ghanaian or not. I know that Mustafa comes from Tatali, and I know how he entered from Togo to Tatali, where Kuyoli, precisely that he resides, where I come from, Zapzugu. So we are neighbors. So I won't question his nationality. Even though he has entered Ghana, we accept him. And it is not doubt that Napo is an Asante, and then he's coming from a royal family. This whole conversation is centered on the original attack from the NDC. Even though our brothers in the CPP are making a point to protect the image of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, of which all of us, we accept the fact that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah has his pluses, but he also has his minus. Criticizing Dr. Kwame Nkrumah is not an offense in this country. And Dr. Kwame Nkrumah remains a leader in the CPP. And we are in a political season, like I said. So in a political season, we are allowed to make comparison. Except that John Mahama, who doesn't want comparison, because that when you compare records, it's an exercise in mediocrity. But I like the tangent on which the CPP is coming from. They are not saying it's an exercise in mediocrity, but they are trying much as they can to protect Dr. Kwame, which is allowed. But I don't see any constitutional strand that dissatisfied with the comment of Napo, and that is why he says that he's going to remain focused. He's not going to stop over to be throwing stones back. Because when stones are thrown at you, it's the fruit that is good that they throw stones at. So everything that Napo will say, definitely our brothers in the NDC will come after it. Moving on from that particular sector, the areas on which he said, he mentioned about the implementation of the free senior high school policy. We know since the inception of this country, BECE candidates have always paid for their fees. The president now took away the fee payment of that particular registration exercise for BECE. It's a fact. I know, Joy, you have the fact check. Right. You can fact check me whether it is true or false. It is also true that it is only Akufo-Addo in the history of this country that have initiated process to make sure that every district has a hospital. The Agenda 111 policy, even though none of them has completed, but in project management, concept inception alone, for you to be able to come out with a concept, it is part of the project process. So it is also fact that the huge medical, in terms of medical investment in this country or health infrastructure, it is Akufo-Addo. So if he compares that and says that not even under Kwame Nkrumah that such a policy has happened, it is a fact. So and
I think the CPP and those who have issues with the comments, their main issue is the introduction of the word "your Kwame Nkrumah." That appears to have, ruffled feathers in the political arena.
If he had said your President Kwame Nkrumah, he said your Kwame Nkrumah, your Kwame Nkrumah. He singled out Kwame Nkrumah. Okay, he didn't say your President Kwame Nkrumah. He said your Kwame Nkrumah. It is one of the political attacks that when you want to speak directly to that political party, you go. But when you speak like your President Kwame Nkrumah, you are attacking the nation, you are attacking the personality and the constitutional room of presidency. But he didn't go on that tangent. He went on to the personality, which is situated in the CPP context. And CPP people can affirm to me, they want to take the mantle. And that is why he is the interim secretary to the CPP. Right. If tomorrow they become the ruling party, I believe that the two political parties will come to debate with them.
But Haruna, I mean, this event took place yesterday. Yes. You had a very exciting presentation at the Menchia Palace. Yes. And then you followed it up with the rally at the Jubilee Park. Yes. But from 6 p.m. yesterday up until now, all that you have been defending is this Kwame Nkrumah introduction. Perhaps upon the benefit of a hindsight, do you think perhaps the running mate shouldn't have even made reference to that, to the extent that now you have even, he elevates Nana Akufo-Addo even above former President John Kufuor. On whose foundation you guys stood?
He has not elevated him above President Kufuor. He said, in terms of performance, and he mentioned specific sectors, you agree with me, under President Kufuor, in terms of the road construction, he has over 10,000 kilometers. Akufo-Addo has over 10,000 kilometers. No president in this country has been able to add in terms of road infrastructure to that extent. In terms of finances into the education sector, no president has ever put such huge sum of money. No president. So if you are mentioning and touting what you have been able to do, and your senior, such as President Kufuor, is there, doesn't mean that you are belittling the work of President Kufuor. We know the policies that MPP has implemented over time has a high mortality rate, which has stayed over time, which can be tested, unlike what Professor Mills did. Go and ask what YesDec did. Where's YesDec? YesDec doesn't exist again. But it came under the mortality rate of the NDC, our opponents' policies, doesn't live over time. They die off. But the policies that we introduce as we come to government lives over time. Right. So that is why all our presidents, all the presidents that come from the MPP scope, the Conservative Party scope, the Liberal Party scope, will always leave a legacy for the people of Ghana to judge.
So going forward, will the party take an interest in what comments the running mate will make, or you are leaving him to do whatever he likes?
Like he said, when you speak the truth, people will attack you. If you speak contrary, people will still attack you. We are going to evaluate all these commentaries that is going on, but we are not going to be distracted in terms of the campaign and message that we want to give to the people of Ghana.
All right, so the interim general secretary of the CPP, Kwame Botsio, is still on the line, and he wants to make some intervention. Kwame, what is your point here?
I have heard what my brother has said, and I also heard the video that was played before he spoke, and it looks as if all these are veiled apologies, and I think it will just be best for them to just come out and then just apologize and resign as we said, so that everything will be over. I mean, they are just waffling all over the place. My brother in the studio so that they are not going to be distracted and that they are going to forge ahead with the campaign. A large part of the campaign is your speech, is how you present yourself to them. And I believe Dr. Opoku Prempeh has started on the wrong foot, and I don't think anything good can come out of this. But, well, it is up to the NPP.
The connection to you appears. Yes, please go on.
We are thinking of the long term. We are thinking of the long term Ghanaian terrain, politically and economically.
Right.
With such a speech, there was the one about the timetable, ECG timetable, and now we have this. I don't think it augurs well for the country, and I think they should look within, just as the Democrats are also looking within and are considering removing Biden. They should also look within and consider removing Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh and put somebody else there. That's what I have to say.
All right. I thank you so much for your time this afternoon. I wish you the very best. Kwame Botsio is the interim secretary to the CPP committee. Now, Fifi Boafo speaks for Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh. Let's see if we can get the latest from him on this trip. Yeah, we don't have Fifi yet. When we have Fifi, we'll try to understand why this first official trip to the Western region and the call on the Wasa Akropon Oman Hene. So, Haruna, I mean, you said you were going to evaluate everything. When I had you on the phone, I pointed you to a social media post that we had and whether people's reaction to the comments. And 80.6% says that they are unhappy with the comments that came from Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh. And in fact, you can have a look at this. How do you rate Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh's speech at his inauguration in the Ashanti region yesterday? Excellent, 4.7%. Good, very good, 3.3%. Poor, very poor, 80.6%. Low opinion, 11.4%. And this is 664 people have so far voted. Is it a fair reflection? What lessons will you draw from this?
I think the question was very open. It was not specific on one content. It was his entire speech. And this is a forum for outdooring of the running mate. And together with the entire ticket, it was not a forum for him to speak to convince the people of Ghana in terms of his vision. His vision falls within the vision of the flag bearer. Right. And the flag bearer did enumerate to the people of Ghana on the 7th of February at UPSA, at which the media was there, about 73-page document which enumerated what we came to meet, what we have been able to done. He himself, in his bid to assist His Excellency the President, what he was able to do, his vision for the country, and tentatively, sector by sector, what he wants to do. Then he went ahead to go through all the 16 regions to be able to meet the House of Chiefs, the clergy, and the Youth Connect systems. So his vision as a running mate is sitting on the vision of the Vice President, who is the flag bearer of our country. Remember, the constitution of our party states the Vice President position to assist, not to insist. So it is not for him to come and speak about his vision. But I would not know the mindset of the respondent, what at all they wanted the running mate to speak about. So we would like to know and further interrogate if specifics will be mentioned of what they needed him to have talked about. But in terms of the question that I'm seeing on the screen, it is open. Maybe they wanted him to speak more. Maybe they wanted him to touch sector by sector. Maybe they wanted him to speak to a particular section of Ghanaians, which he did not do, but had to cut it because the time factor. Remember, that rally was meant to be at 2 p.m. But As at 2 p.m., we're still at the Asantehini's Palace.
Right.
So we needed time to be able to complete this exercise. There will be the appropriate time for Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh to speak to the media, speak to the Ghanaian citizen, and to be able to let them know how he's going to assist His Excellency, the Vice President.
All right. So from what we were told today, for example, the flag bearer is campaigning in Nalerigu, Gambaga, Yonyo, and Bumpurugu, and then the running mate also touched base at the Wasa Kupon Oman Hills Palace in the Amanfi East constituency of the Western region. Your campaign is already underway?
Yes, there's a program for the flag bearer, and there's a program for the running mate. Immediately, when our brothers from the other side inaugurated and then showcased their running mate, we have always seen him accompany the flag bearer to either meet with the media or talk. We have not been, there is no show at all. This is not what we are going to do. Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh will be visiting the Western North as he has done. We'll be visiting the Ahafo region. He will be visiting the Bono region and the Bono East region. From there, another timetable will come as to where he's going to go. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will be visiting all the 57 constituencies in the 5 northern regions. And when he concludes, then we will draw another timetable for the rest of the regions. So he will be working, and the running mate will also be working. We are very sure that by the time that we will finish with the constituency meetings by the flag bearer and the running mate, I am very sure, and we are very sure, Ghanaians will understand the state at which we are. So good for us.
So for now, the running mate timetable is concentrated in where he is now. Ashanti, Bono, Ahafo, Bono East, and the rest. And then the flag bearer also concentrated
in the 5 northern.
For how long will he be doing this?
The flag bearer will be meeting 3 or 2 constituencies a day, because he's going to connect with the constituencies. You remember, he did the regions, and then now he's going to start with the constituencies. Today, he's dealing with 3 constituencies. After today, he will continue in the Northeast region and exit to the Northern region through Charkpani. And that is how the program is going to go. So by 15th of this month, he might have completed the Northern region too and exit to another region. So that is how the campaign is going to go. Then Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh will be doing another exercise that will be complementing the work of the flag bearer. So the flag bearer has already gone into the regions. He has met with the clergy. He has also met with the House of Chiefs. He has met with some notifiable groups, some artisans, some market women, the meet and greet. So all these things are factored into the bill of the Vice President and the flag bearer of our party. So the running mate is also going to do another exercise. Remember, the running mate has gone to call on the chief.
Right.
Dr. Bawumia did not do that. He went to call on what? The House of Chiefs.
Right.
So we are going on specifics. So the running mate will be doing something different. Remember, his role is to complement the flag bearer, and that is what he has to do. So we know that we have chosen somebody who has the energy. We have chosen somebody who is a grassroots man. We have chosen somebody who understands the party and is going to continue to work to complement the effort of the flag bearer. And
then Greater Accra, Eastern, and the other regions, what is the program for it? Because, I mean, a lot of people have said that the Greater Accra region will decide the outcome of the December 7 general election. The government himself has said same, because whatever is happening in the country, the economic issues and everything, people feel it's here more in the Greater Accra region than the other regions. So here is really where the battleground is.
Yeah, it is. But if you look at the Nigeria elections, they won the election from the rural areas. There is no difference between a vote from the rural area and the urban area. A vote in my constituency in Zabzogo is the same vote in Greater Accra. So we can't sit down and say that the elections will be determined by Greater Accra, because all votes are not counted twice. It's counted once. We are going to speak to the entire people of Ghana. The Greater Accra population, yes, we know. We also have the Ashanti population, the Eastern population. We also know what comes from the Bono regions and the Northern region. I am telling you on authority that we are going to win the majority of the votes in the Northern region. We graduated. Because of what? Because of the flag bearers hailing from that part of the country? Because the 2 flag bearers are coming from the northern part. We are going to march Vice President Bawumia against Vice President John Dramani Mahama. When he was Vice President, what was his impact to the people of the North? What has been the impact of Dr. Bawumia as vice president? If you check, he later became a president. When he was a minister of communication, even his own constituency, Boale, did not have a telephone booth. Minister of communication did not have a telephone booth. And that time we were using the card system. I was in Polytechnic by that time. Boale did not have even a telephone booth. So you ask yourself, he became a president.
And so I'm sure
yes,
a lot of communities.
Yeah, his own people needed a region. He could not do that. Even the Yogbongura, they had the cause to visit him and tell him that we need a region. He could not do that. The legacy that is even in the Savannah region was done by Professor Mills. He inherited that from J. Akufo in terms of the road from Fufulusu to Sola.
Right.
That is the biggest legacy. But in terms of the two of them, their contribution, the northern people, including the people of Savannah, will go and vote for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
I'll come back so that we can wrap up this conversation. But Nana Botsio is in the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi. Nana, you're welcome. So almost 24 hours after the official unveiling, what is the talk on the streets of Kumasi?
And when you come to the Ashanti region, which happens to be the stronghold of the New Patriotic Party, what everybody is talking about is the unveiling event, which took place yesterday at the Kumasi Jubilee Park. The first event, which also happened at the Menchia Palace, was the presentation of Dr. Matthew Prempeh to the Ashanti Hene. What everybody has been talking about is the advice that the Ashanti Otunfosse to the second gave to Dr. Matthew Prempeh, and also his remarks during the event at the Kumasi Jubilee Park, the comparison he made between Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and then Nana Addo Akufo-Addo in regards to the achievements these two leaders have been able to do for themselves since they took office. So that has been the talk in the Ashanti region. Most importantly, with Dr. Matthew Prempeh's target for the MPP, which is to secure over 80% votes for the MPP in the Ashanti region. And so the talk has been around Dr. Matthew Prempeh's remarks and the advice from the Ashanti Otunfosse to the second.
Finally, before I let you go, today is also a big day in the Manchester South constituency because the party, they've been vetting those who have submitted their nominations to contest in the parliamentary primary. Any update on that?
Well, so Elton, on Monday, the NPP officially opened nominations for the Menchia South seat after the confirmation of Dr. Prempeh as its running mate. And as at Monday, 5 people picked up their forms. And on Tuesday, when the party was closing nominations, 4 people had filed their nominations. These 4 include Nana Usu Ekwiye Prempeh, who is the brother of Dr. Matthew Prempeh, also from the Apejafi, lawyer Bafo Ejeyi, Akwasiku Kajembidi, and Kojo Amankwa Enchi, and James Usu Guache. These were the 5 people who picked up nominations on Monday. But then James Usu Guache, we have been told, did not file his nominations at the close of it yesterday. Today, the elections committee sat down to vet these 4 aspirants and then also conduct balloting for them. The process ended not long ago, and then these 4 candidates have been cleared by the elections committee of the New Patriotic Party. And so we are expecting the elections to be held at the Kumasi Wesley Girls Training College on Sunday. When we spoke to the director of elections for the MPP, Evan Sinemakon, he's promising a free and fair election come Sunday, and he's telling the aspirants to rely on the MPP as it is promising to make sure that it conducts the process fairly for all of them. And so this has been the update from the Menchia.
I didn't hear the name of Tima. Did she pull out?
Oh, she did not even pick up the nomination on Monday. So she's not part of the race at all.
All right, thank you so much, Nana Botsio from Love FM in Kumasi, giving us an update of events happening. And so on Sunday, the party will hold parliamentary primaries in the Menchia South constituency to select a candidate to represent the ticket in the parliamentary election in December. So, Haruna, before I let you go, will Dr. Matthew Prempeh resign as energy minister now that he has a bigger role in the party?
Sure, he will do that because we have precedents. There has been precedents before. Nana Addo Akufo-Addo was the MP for Ebuakwa when he became the flag bearer. He resigned as minister and went and contest. John Dramani Mahama was an MP, and he also was picked as a running mate to His Excellency Professor Mills. Lawyer Mumuni was also an MP. Obviously, there will not be any resignation as Member of Parliament, but in terms of the position he occupies
as Energy Minister,
I think that he would communicate officially to His Excellency the President, who appointed him to serve in that role.
Final words before you go.
My final words are that the MPP will remain to listen to the people of Ghana. We are going to showcase our ticket to them, and we are going to build our campaign based on the successes of all the MPP governments from President Kufuor. And if you look at my commentary, I come from the north. The contribution of D.A. Kufuor in terms of health infrastructure in the north was very great. And Akufo-Addo has come to complement to make sure that all other districts are covered. And we are going to continue to make sure that the social contracts that we had with the good people of Ghana in 2016, we are going to look at all those particular sectors and focus on the vision of His Excellency, the Vice President, and the standard bearer of our party to ensure that we do what the people want. We're also going to focus on making sure that the economy is back on footing, and Dr. Amin Adam has demonstrated that particular courage, and we have seen that there is some level of sustenance in terms of the depreciation of the cedi, and the economy is picking up. We also want to reassure the people of Ghana that we have not brought heaven to the people of Ghana, but we have done our bit in terms of how we'll be able to contribute. And we say it and continuously we repeat it, that the alternative that is competing with us is very scary. They don't have any alternative. They don't have any suggestion. They are just wishing and saying that it is 8 years, it is our turn. Let them tickle themselves and then laugh and think that they will come to power. But I am very much convinced that Ghanaians are very discerning. Right. They don't have short memories.
Thank you so much. Haruna Mohammed is Deputy General Secretary of the governing New Patriotic Party. We'll take a short break here on the pod. When we return, is day 3 of the basic education certificate examinations, and already the West African Examination Council clamped down on malpractices seem to be yielding positive results. So far, 16 teachers and invigilators have been arrested. We have the details for you when we return. Stay right there. You're welcome back to the pulse here on Joy News. Now let's talk about housing. Works and Housing Minister Nkrumah says all the affordable housing projects begun under the late former President John Mahama will soon be completed to help address the country's housing deficit. He's been touring some of the sites at Amahia and Adenta here in Accra, and says his ministry is engaging private developers to provide capital for completing and operationalizing the units. The construction has stalled for over 10 years due to litigation. However, work resumed on these projects 6 weeks ago. Semefa Kwesu has more.
For over 10 years, this housing project were abandoned due to litigation between contractors, state housing and the government. The Adenta project, initiated in 2011 by the late President John Evans Atta Mills, was abandoned in 2012. The government has now reached an agreement with contractors, and work has resumed on many of these projects nationwide. During a tour of the site with ministry officials, Works and Housing Minister Nkrumah refuted claims that the affordable housing units were being sold to private developers.
Colleagues, I'm sure you followed a number of times the point we have made that we don't have to leave projects abandoned. And so we are going through an exercise that seeks to ensure that many of these projects that are described as abandoned projects, we can resume work on them and finish them. Earlier this week, you were with us at the ministry as we made progress on Saglemi. I think I also mentioned there that we'll be going to Akufo-Addo, where the State Housing Company, once again, is picking off on one of those projects, President Kufuor's affordable housing project around Akwadum. They've made a lot of progress on that one, and they will be resuming work on that shortly. 6 weeks ago, as part of that program, they resumed work on this particular project following the litigation there. Just to make a low point that the contractors or the private entities that we are bringing into these projects, we are not selling the projects to them. I noticed, for example, that after Monday, there were those who were of the view that we are selling these projects to private contractors. We're not selling to private contractors. We're inviting private sector in to work with us to complete. So here there are private subcontractors who are working with state housing to finish it, and then they will sell it to the public, which is the intendment. In Akufo-Addo is the same. They're working with a private subcontractor who will be doing the same, who will go there and see it. In Saglemi as well, we've invited the private sector not to come in and buy, we're not selling, but to come in, bring in their capital. Government has already invested $200 million into it. The private entity would come and invest the estimated about 100 million, and then together we will complete the project and sell as affordable homes to the Ghanaians. So it's important that we have an understanding that because of the limited fiscal challenges that we have, or the limited fiscal space we have, government cannot necessarily bear the burden of pre-financing everything.
The CEO for the State Housing Company, Kwame Botsio, has provided updates on the housing projects.
This is Adenta. We call this place SHC Gardens or SHC Court. This project was started around 2011 under the presidency of former President J.A. Mills. It was discontinued somewhere between 2012 and 2013 due to disagreements between the then state housing management and then the contractor and the government as well. So it made the project to stall for about 10 years whilst the case was being litigated in court. Finally, we've been able to bring the litigation to a close, and the government have taken it on to move back to site to complete this project as part of the various projects that have stalled around the country. But once we are done with that, we hope to then move to another project site within the Greater Accra region. Across the country, State Housing is developing similar projects in the Central region, where the North Fourth Ridge area in Cape Coast, in Takoradi as well. Sefri also in the Western North. We are doing Tamale, we are doing Bogatanga, and then in Ho as well.
The Works and Housing Ministry has announced that all abandoned housing projects nationwide will be completed and sold to the public. Semafa Bessu's report for Joy News.
So most of these projects were started by the late President John Evans Atta Mills, and government says that they are looking to get them done and then sold to the public. Now, before we talk about the BECE and the arrest, let's talk about investment, because today is Wednesday. The locked-up investment holders forum picketed the finance ministry this morning for the 6th consecutive week in demand for their locked-up funds at NDK Finance and 3 other deposit-taking institutions. The group persistently, they've requested an audience with the finance minister or his deputies to express their grievances with no success so far. The group is yet to receive a response from Parliament after petitioning the House of Legislature to intervene on their behalf and ensure government includes in the mid-year review budget a portion to deal with their concerns. Kenneth Jesse worked with them, and this is his report.
In here and see in the background, the bondholders forum is once again picketing the finance ministry in demand for their locked-up funds at 4 deposit-taking institutions. They had earlier petitioned Parliament to intervene and make sure that these funds are included in the mid-year budget review. Listen to the lead convener of the group, Dr. Edu Anani Entry.
We have submitted a petition to Parliament to step in, and Parliament is working on that. We are working with 4 institutions that we can't get our monies from, but 2 institutions, namely SIC Life Savings and Loans, has informed us that for them, the government is the ultimate shareholder. You know, SIC Life Savings and Loan is a subsidiary of SIC Life Insurance, which is owned by the government. And so, according to them, they are working with the Ministry of Finance to provide, Ministry of Finance representing the shareholder, to provide additional resources to enable them pay their clients the way and manner that they are supposed to do. So we say, well, if you think that your shareholder is working to give you money, then we can't say Parliament or Ministry should provide financing to enable the Bank of Ghana revoke your license. The second institution among the four is SDC Financial Services. According to them, the government owes them so much in terms of what they call the certificate of purchase, contractors who have worked for them, and they have issued certificates that they need government to pay. So according to them, if government pays them all that is due SDC through their clients, they will be able to pay every depositor.
Some of the people who have their funds locked up at these deposit-taking institutions include lactating mothers, old men and women, pensioners, some of whom cannot even walk. They simply want their monies refunded to them.
Yeah, I decided to come here because we have not been getting our interest. Anytime we get there, they say there's no money. So today I came to NDK to find out my maturity date will be tomorrow, whether I can get something or not. But they told me there's nothing. And I heard my people are coming to the Minister of Finance to see the Minister off on our money. So I decided to join them because as you see me, I was hospitalized as 37 from 2022 November. I was discharged in January 2023. Up till now, I've not had any payment from NDK. And my bills are still outstanding. I borrowed money to pay for my medical bills. And as of now, hoping that I can get money from NDK to settle my debts. I've not gotten anything yet.
As a lactating mother, what are you doing here this morning?
I'm here because of my investments. I invested at NDK for some about 10 years now. Now I'm in need for the money. For some time now, anytime you get there, they will tell you there's no money. There's no money, there's no money. So, once my people are at demonstration, I have to follow them and come because I may not know if I didn't come and then maybe something appear. If my name is not in the list, maybe I will not be able to get my money or my funds.
We'll even continue into next year. November we'll give a break, but next year we'll continue. We'll need to get our money. I have all my savings locked up, and now I depend only on the meager pension that I get. Nothing, all savings exhausted. I came home exactly 9 years ago. Next Monday will be 9 years, 69. 9 years, all my savings depleted because nothing is coming in. And the one that I have all hopes on is what is long, the chunk, what I plan to live on. This is the time for me to enjoy. Yes, this is the time for me. And it has rather turned the opposite. I'm rather suffering for helping or working for Ghana.
And as they continue to say, they will picket the finance ministry until their funds are released to them. From the finance ministry, Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
Well, let's talk about education because it's day 3 of the basic education certificate examinations. And where the West African Examination Council clamped down on malpractices seem to be yielding positive results. So far, 16 teachers and invigilators have been arrested for various infractions and handed over to the police for prosecution. We'll bring you details of what happened shortly. But yesterday, my colleague Rejoice Semefakpesu went round the centers in Accra. Here's what she found.
Greater Accra, we've been to the Accra Metro, some centers, and everything is running smoothly. And visitors about 4 or 5 centers in the Ayawaso Central Municipality. They have about 6 candidates with learning disabilities. Now what they do here is that they extend the time by either 20 minutes or 25 minutes for both papers for these candidates, so they will be able to provide their answers and then catch up with the others.
Please, if I read, I understand, but how I'll transfer it in the book, like I am difficult to do it.
You find difficult to transfer the answers onto the booklet?
Yeah.
So they've extended the time for you. Is it okay? Are you able to do it?
Yes.
You're able to do it?
Yes. Yes, but the shading, if I'm shading, they said they'll reject, if you don't shade well, they'll reject your paper. So I like to shade well before they'll reject my paper.
This I have in the examination is, before I start, I have to read through. And to read through, I'm not too fast in it. So I'm supposed to come down and read. By the time I finish, the time is not yet up, but I finish writing before some time comes. But always I get difficulties when I'm writing. And after all, I'm supposed to go through whether I've done a mistake. But I would not be able to go through and then it's stop over.
Yes, the difficulty here has been that we don't teach them. We have come here to monitor the basic education certificate examination, and we were given notice from WAEC that they have such challenges. So we are just going according to WAEC's regulation with respect to such candidates. Sometimes, you see, for some of them, they have the learning disability. In course of reading, they may have challenges. You don't have to even read for them though, but when you give them at least some assistance, they will just follow, and then out of their standard, they can give whatever they want to write. Yeah.
I was scared at first, but now the scariness has reduced.
Really? You were scared? Why were you scared? Didn't you learn?
I learned, but
but what happened? You were nervous, you were anxious?
Yes.
Really?
Yes,
So
I was
now
really anxious.
It's gone now. Is it because the paper was easy?
It was somehow.
Really? So you should be expecting 8 A's for mommy.
Okay, yes.
Oh, very cheap,
Very cheap.
but difficult.
Oh, what is very cheap but difficult? Why was it cheap but difficult? I don't understand. Explain.
Oh no. I learned some of the questions which came, and it came in the exam.
So the ones that came were cheap. The one that you didn't learn for were difficult. Is that it?
Yes, please.
Okay, so rate it for me. 70 over 100, 60 over 100. Tell me.
Me, all I know is I'll get 60.
You get 60 for the integrated science.
Yes, please.
It was cheap. Yeah, especially the science and the English.
Oh, are those your best subjects?
Yes. Yeah.
That's why they were cheap for you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So rate it for me. Percentage.
I'll give you 75.
75 over 100 for the integrated science or English?
The science 75, but the English 80.
Well, the West African Examination Council has issued an update on this, on the clampdown and the arrest so far. And we put together this graphic just to make it more, refreshing. So they've so far arrested 16 people. As of the close of yesterday, we'll get an update for you soon. But so far, 16 people have been arrested. And these are some of the crimes committed for that necessitated WAEC to cause their arrest. Some of them were found to be assisting students, mobile phone possession at the examination hall, which is against the rules and regulations governing the examination. Some of them were also arrested for taking snapshots of question papers. There was also the instance of possession of foreign papers at the examination hall, and that's all of them, according to WAEC, fall directly outside of the permitted rules governing the examination, the reason why they got the police to step in and arrest the individuals. Right, so hopefully we'll have more for you in subsequent bulletins on Top Story, on News 9, of course, on Joy News Prime. But for now, We'll take a short break and return with more for you right here on the Pulse on Joy News. Welcome back to the Pulse, and before we go, in a strategic move to bolster Ghana's agricultural sector, the College for Community and Organizational Development, in partnership with Lola Group Turkey, will be providing organic fertilizers to 87,000 farmers across the Savannah, Northeast, and Upper West regions. This initiative aims to enhance organic farming practices, thereby supporting the livelihood of thousands of farmers and contributing to the nation's socio-economic development. Dr. Gabriel Benaku, President, CCOD, and West Africa representative of Lola Group, joins me in the studio to shed light on this matter. Doctor, you're welcome.
Thank you.
So what inspired the partnership between CCOD and Lola Group Turkey?
Yeah, thank you. Over the last 3 years, I've been modeling a sustainable program for Ghana and West Africa because of my background. And so I had the opportunity to sign a partnership pact with the Lola Group to support agriculture, education, health, and social services, including socio-economic activities. And so the Lola Group is a Turkey-based investment platform for non-recourse funding. Non-recourse funding simply means grants.
Right.
That support social good. So I'm currently working with government institutions, the Catholic Church, and NGOs to be able to draw these resources that they have for social good into the Ghanaian local economic development. So basically, the partnership for the next 10 years is to support Ghana's agriculture, health, and education. But one of the beneficiaries, which is Mehoso International, is an NGO that is working in 10 regions of Ghana, is going to benefit a package as part of the 6 priority projects that has been approved by Lola.
Perhaps we can talk about the projects.
Yes. So one of them is going to roll out this agroecological intervention,
right,
including organic farming, agroforestry, socio-economic tree planting, and responding to the climate change mitigation that we experience, especially in the northern part of Ghana.
So specifically, the target area is the northern part of Ghana?
Yeah, it's from the savannah.
From the savannah.
From Ahafo to all the northern region of Ghana.
Why this specific concentration in the...
There's evidence of research, there's evidence of best practices, and there's evidence of poverty from the savannah to the northern part of Ghana. So this is not discriminatory.
Of course.
It's just to respond to the reality.
To the data, if you like.
On the ground. And we know that this part of the region also supply the chunk of food to the rest of the country. And so when you put in intervention there, you are actually utilizing the weaknesses that they have, and you leverage on that to support the other economies.
Right.
Because you need productive economies to also be able to provide back services into deprived area. So our main target is to scale out to the country, but to focus on the 8 regions within the next...
So in terms of targets, is it wholesale, or if identify farmers that you'll be working with?
We have a value chain mechanism. A lot of interventions will reach different categories of group. For example, women group who are into village savings and loan. One of our local NGO is a strategic partner that will be handling women who are into VLSA, that's village savings and loans. So they receive, for example, sorghum. They go into production organically, and there's already an off-taker that will pick it up after production. So we are going to ensure that standards based on research are adhered to. There's already a best practice in the northern part of Ghana on how to produce sorghum that is wholesome, that is organically standard.
So in this case, they benefit from farming inputs?
Sorry?
Or they will be benefiting from the seeds of farming?
Yeah, it's a package.
Okay.
They will benefit from site selection and all the extension services. They will benefit from capacity building, that's group dynamics. They will benefit from savings and loans packages. They will benefit from linkages to access to market. So it will be a holistic approach that, including the organic product. Now, what we are going to do is we will put up organic production centers across the 8 regions.
Okay.
I think there are going to be about 100 of them. So these hundreds, with the technology, we set up the system to produce and supply such number of farmers within that particular zone. And then the extension, we are going to collaborate with the Agri-Extension Unit and the Crop Research Institute to be able to support services to these farmers.
And for how long do you want to sustain this project?
For now, the phase 1 is 5 years, but we envisage that our long-term partnership with Lola is 10 years. So we envisage that after 5 years, we have already started discussing, as they were in Ghana, we are already discussing about if this one succeeds, what next? And one of the critical things, we want to put up in Kintampo, for example, we have taken a 50-acre land. We want to put up a organic farming production center, because that has been one of the major challenges. When farmers now know how organic production is done, they cannot do large production at the community level.
Right.
But you need a zonal service center where it will be more economic to move the organic produce there, products there, to supply to the farmers.
Okay.
So we will do one in Kintampo, we will do one in Savannah region, in Tona,
right,
which is also closer, and then we'll do one in Wale Wale. So these are the areas that we want to put up production centers using the techies technology to be able to do that.
Time is running out on me, but in terms of national benefits, how do you expect this project to benefit the entire country?
Yes, why Lola Group supported this intervention is based on our innovation that we seek to bring. While working with farmers, we integrate microfinancing services that will help them to know how to save and how to improve on their savings and financial literacy. So that will help them to know how to conduct more agricultural intervention or businesses. The next sustainability is that out of these 87 farmers, it will affect more than 300,000 households. And they will all know the technology transfer of how to produce organic fertilizer. And these 300,000 households are going to benefit economically, socially, and in terms of education. They will be able to improve on children's education, having access to tertiary and other vocational skills training services.
So ultimately, improve farming and also reduce poverty.
Yes,
okay.
It's going to be farming, improving on the agricultural produce, reducing poverty, but on a more serious note, we will contribute to the climate change mitigation factors.
All right, Dr. Gabriel, thank you so much for coming through. Hopefully with time, we can get to understand this.
Thank you.
And when the project gets under, we'll find a way to do
we already have done the
evaluation and all those things.
We will update you as and when we are in the field working.
Folks, that's our show for today. For more stories, log on to our website, myjoyonline.com. Stories on myjoyonline.napo. If you are truthful, they say you are disrespectful, but they clap when you lie. And plus other stories on myjoyonline.com. Let's Talk Showbiz is up next on Joy News. Whatever you are up to in the hours ahead, I hope it's profitable. My name is Elton Gobi. See you tomorrow, same time, here on Joy News.